Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is Tim, and we are going to be talking about UFC Auckland. And it's in New Zealand, but it's pretty much Australia. So I'm glad to have Gugabe here to talk
Good day,
about it.
mate.
How are you doing?
Good day, mate. How's it going? Yeah, I'm just here to chat about chat shit on people I've trained with in the past. So good times.
Yeah. You want to we can quickly recap the Anderson Yan card. We'll just go through a few fights. And then
Yeah, it works.
on this Auckland card, I do want to kind of just like say fuck this fight on a few of them just because I don't really care about many of the fights because any New Zealand card and Australia card is a shit show, and I'm just gonna blame you for that for living in that area.
I went to Werdum versus Tibura. It was the longest card in UFC history. I was
Oh,
there
was it?
live. It was like 7 hours long. It was fucked. Like the fight time was it was like one finish.
Yeah.
It was legitimately the longest fight card in the UFC. It was legitimately the longest like fight time card in UFC history, and the fights weren't even good. But like two good fights, like two decent fights. Like I'm a hardcore, and yeah, that was not fun viewing.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, well, we'll talk about the other card. Paiva, good win. Chason and Young, that was the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Marab and Kenny, won't toot my we don't
Yeah,
need to toot our own horn, but Marab's just kind of a monster. That's all it is, you know?
yeah. You pretty much need to either like you need to essentially finish him or get knockdowns to win fights against him. His pace is too stupid.
Yeah,
Like
or you just have to like people were really underrating Signs and Simone as just wrestlers in general. Like those guys
yeah,
are D1 level and they're really, really good, and they still got taken down like 6 and 11 times, you know?
and also Signs like he's aged out now, but legitimately like peak Signs was a good fighter. He's
Yeah, he's
39 now, but
statistically good too. Yeah.
yeah, he had a bunch of close fights. He almost beat Faber in like a very Faber fight. Yeah, they went to a bunch of splits. Like, yeah, very few people ever like consistently beat Signs or anything like that. Like Signs, peak Signs was like top 10 bantamweight.
He generally doesn't get outstruck by people either, you know?
Yeah,
Like keeps up a high rate and he generally doesn't get teed off on. So yeah, the the cornering on both sides, I'll fly through this quick, but the cornering on both sides was really good. Like anytime Marab would have Kenny up against the cage, you'd hear their corner yelling at Kenny, like, go to this other side, go to the open side. So I thought that was good. And I think people were underrating Marab's top control just because he wasn't holding down like very accomplished wrestlers, in Simone and Signs. But you don't just have to lay in guard to have top control, and he's just like Gillespie where he gets that clasped hands, and there's only a few fighters who do that in the UFC, but you would hear Matt Serra yell like get the body lock, from the back position, and he'll just hold that and hold position. So that was nuts. But Kenny honestly fought well, I thought.
yeah, 100%. For considering the difficulty of beating a guy like Merab when you don't really have the I guess octane offense to really stop him from doing what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenny hung in there pretty well. Like, yeah, Kenny's a decent fighter. He needs to go down the flyweight. I think he's kind of in that position where he's probably gonna be let down by his athleticism more than anything else.
Yeah,
Like
he's definitely got some skills.
he's solid. Like he'll still be a top 50. He'll probably like fringe top 15 flyweights or 20 to 30 bantamweight. He's
Yeah.
skilled, but he just lacks that athletic gear to really get anywhere. In my opinion.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I like him a lot. I think Clark and Townsend, I mean, yeah, that was pretty much what we
Nah,
expected. Holtzman, Miller, uh, kind of what I expected too. Like Miller hung in there a little bit, and I think was getting a little overrated on his first round finishes because Holtzman's actually got submission defense, and Holtzman's tough as fuck and kind of underrated.
Miller kind of had more success than I was expecting early, but yeah, Holtzman eventually just took over. Like a lot of the early stances just seemed like Holtzman would just sort of realize he could just batter Miller to death with his athleticism essentially, or like his durability quotient.
Yeah, Miller
But
kept
like
landing that straight left hand, which
a lot of
he
those early stances were pretty ugly for Holtzman. Like Holtzman figured out he could just keep ramming himself into Miller and eventually he'd win.
for sure.
But on the other hand, it wasn't exactly the best. I wasn't expecting Miller to win the first like 6 minutes or whatever he did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not a hot take type of guy, but because this Australia or this New Zealand card coming up kind of sucks, and I don't have too many opinions. I'm going to give an opinion here. I think Dotson got. I think he benefited on some meme shit going on in this fight against Wood. I thought Wood actually looked pretty good, and he outlanded him both rounds by like a significant margin. Um, but I feel like sometimes the low blows weren't even low blows, and then I felt like the crowd was kind of helping Dotson they were kind of making it look like Dotson was doing better than he actually was. Because when I was watching it, I thought Wood clearly took the first 2 rounds, but I knew Dotson would get round 2, and, like, Wood clearly outlanded him on the numbers too, and then I think, like, all the breakups were allowing Dotson to kind of garner up energy and just kinda, like, go nuts, and then he just finished him at the beginning of round 3.
yeah. I had it 1-1 going into round three. Dodson's weird because it's not like he's like Woodley, where like he's never really had cardio issues per se. I'd say. Like, yeah, he tends to be able to explode pretty consistently, but yeah, I saw some nice things from Wood. I really like that check left hook. Woods kept landing on Dodson on the exit.
Yeah,
Like just that one exchange, he hit Dodson like a few times, and he made Dodson like actually react to it because Dodson's classically been ultra durable. Like I didn't like 100%. Yeah, I think Dodson's definitely lost the gear.
yeah.
Dodson KO at plus 900 or plus opened at plus 1230 was nuts.
This is a great play, for sure.
Yeah, like I just Dodson does hit obscenely hard, and Wood is kind of hittable.
Yeah, like, being trying to be, like, more level-headed about this, I
Yeah,
do think Dotson benefited from some things in that fight for sure, like, all the kind of all the breaks and
yeah,
and the crowd even, because I still think Wood won the 2nd round personally, but, like, I get it,
yeah,
like, Dotson had some moments, but I think I think Wood honestly impressed me, but I do think the defensive liability is there for him, and Dotson can still land hard, so, like, Dotson, like, it wasn't a fluke win or anything by Dotson. It was just like, I think both guys are capable of winning the fight.
yeah. Exactly. Like I wouldn't. Yeah, I'd cap it pretty close to where the line was originally.
Yeah, yeah,
Like if it was in England or neutral territory, probably close to minus 175 would. But I don't know. I think I think KO is quite live. I think one of the main things I felt I had wrong is I played Dodson pretty hard. Like would hurt Dodson. Like didn't hurt, but definitely Dodson noticed getting hit. I'm not
yeah,
sure if
yeah.
that's a
He
hundred
landed
percent.
some
I'm not
good
sure.
shots on Dotson.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much that's like Dodson's age, but also like yeah, I felt Wood did some very intelligent stuff. Like that check left hook was nice.
He's got a good low calf kick too that he consistently lands. That check left hook was nice, so that landed big. Rodriguez and Means, this was like I I didn't think Rodriguez looked all that bad in the Contender Series, but, like, you don't really know, like, because of Contender Series fights, it's hard, but he just threw so many strikes in that fight, and he seemed tough, but I think Means' durability is kind of failing him a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. Even like Pete Mean still had moments where he get dropped and he kind of just rallied through it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's more like the Wanderlei sort of durability than he was like an Iron Chin slugger, if you know
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah,
So
for
yeah,
sure.
usually those guys are the ones to go a bit quicker because all you need to do is fuck up the recovery once or twice and you just lost it.
Yeah.
Which is I mean, eventually that sort of stuff's just gonna stop working for you, and it has for the most part. Um,
Venata, Medeiros, but Venata, smart performance,
yeah,
probably not, not just going nuts, but not gonna say too much about this fight.
pretty much. I
Um,
expected Medeiros to try and like make more happen than he really did, but yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Borg and Bontorin, I
Bontorin was robbed.
I
I had a
thought
30-25 Bontorin.
this fight was so weird because I had no strong opinions, and then I taped and like, messaged you, I was like, "Dude, Borg is going to murk Bontorin," and I don't always take, like, really strong opinions on fights, like, even once I play, I understand win conditions, but I just saw it as, like, Bontorin's not subbing him. A knockout's very unlikely, and he's probably being overvalued for, like, a meme cut KO versus Paiva. and he's not gonna win the top position battle. I just don't see why people are so enthusiastic about Bontorin, and he was just out-grappled, like, a year and a half ago by a worse grappler.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What's next after that? Wave of Vargas. I mentally missed this live. I went off to go get lunch, and I saw play by play. I know a bunch of people putting like fucking max unit bombs on Waver.
And they're idiots and got lucky.
Like, I mean, I just took one look at Waver, and I was like, I'm not putting a max unit bet on that man at minus 250.
That's exactly what I did. I looked at both of them, I was like, "They're both not very good. It's probably gonna be a shit show." And Vargas looked like he should have been minus 250.
Yeah, like I haven't watched the fight. Like I just saw the replay of DQ. Yeah, the DQ happens. Sometimes you get bailed out, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they got bailed out. I just I don't know, I just didn't like, neither guy was very good. I guess if you like a side, you like a side, but I don't see how you could max bet a fight like that. It's a complete shit show.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
Speaking
Like
of a
I've
fight you could have max bet, Montana De La Rosa, like, dominated. I didn't really research this fight too much, and I kinda regret it.
I also mentally missed this to go get food. Yeah, I heard she just kind of ran over her. I saw a bunch of people playing Barella pre-fight. I just kind of passed because I was like, I don't mind De La Rosa, but I was kind of curious whether the wrestling would work or not. I thought
At
the fight
least
would largely come down to that.
she goes to her game consistently, which is always a
Yeah,
good thing, and I think you mentioned that on the podcast last week, so she just kinda dominated with the wrestling, she looked good.
yeah.
Um,
It's like De La Rosa was either going to be like minus 400 because she could wrestle and Barella couldn't, so or Barella was going to be very competitive. So it's just like, yeah. And
yeah,
it's not like she's McMahon or something where you kind of like really relying on her wrestling.
yeah.
Um,
Diego, easy money over Pereira.
yeah, it's one of the cleanest performances I've ever seen.
That's
Like Diego Sanchez at plus 160 looked like a minus 250 favorite from earlier on the card.
oh, yeah,
What
yeah,
more do you need to say?
yeah,
I had just as much confidence in Diego as I did in Brock Weaver.
Diego took over in round 3 just as I expected to.
Yeah, and yeah, it was a controversial finish, but I felt like that was a fair stoppage.
In all seriousness, I didn't there's no way I was gonna play this fight, but I honestly like, I had always thought Pereira wasn't a bad fighter if he didn't do backflips and shit. Like, I don't know, like, he can, like, functionally grapple, and his striking is, like, powerful, and he has good distance control, but, yeah, like, he wasn't an idiot, and he kinda just dominated, and Diego got pretty lucky and took the he took the $100,000 payday.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
Corey
Jan
Anderson
and
versus Young.
Jan just hit his win condition, in my opinion.
Pretty much. Like, expect Anderson to wrestle with a bit more urgency, but he didn't. I've seen some very bizarre takes, like Jan improving his takedown defense to take the rematch, when it's like, we have no idea if Jan's takedown defense was improved or not because Corey didn't go for any of them. I just say this is quite similar to the Adams versus Harper sort of thing, where it's like there was a very obvious massive win condition. Like, I'm not gonna say Jan Backers got lucky, but there was like a minus 500 Corey win condition in there.
Yeah.
So
Um, like, I think when people just see a result, they assume it happens every time, and, like,
yeah,
even and, like, I'll also say, like, even when my fighters win, I understand when my fighters win, they still could have lost. Like, I don't know, like, Holtzman could have still gotten hurt against Jim Miller, and got club and sub.
yeah,
That's just, like, how things are. Um But I do believe Holtzman was probably the round winner for the most part.
yep,
But Miller still competed. Like, Miller could have maybe even won a decision. And I think people just need to realize the first round of Jan Anderson was competitive in the first fight,
yeah,
and then Anderson would take over. And so if he gets knocked out in round 1, it doesn't mean he can't take over later. Um, and I still think, like, the wrestling of Anderson would have worked throughout a 25-minute fight. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but I haven't seen anything. I mean, Jan almost finished Patrick Cummins in the first round, and then he got out wrestled for 2, and one judge scored it a draw because Jan literally 10-8'd him in round 1, and then Patrick Cummins, who's not nearly as good as Corey Anderson, clearly took rounds 2 and 3, you know? So, I yeah, it's just when conditions can happen and they can't, you know?
As far as KO is concerned, it was just kind of a big single shot.
Yeah,
It wasn't like Yarn was building it, beating him pillar to post. Volume was pretty much even at the time.
it was dead even. Yep.
Yeah, Corey got clipped, and yeah, I mean, yeah, Yarn finished up 2 strikes ahead, but that included the knockout and a ground and pound blow. So it's just like if
Yeah.
Yarn's slightly off on that punch, because it wasn't. Yeah, it's one thing if Yarn to like come out and be dominating on the feet, but like it was kind of even. Maybe a sort of 5% knockout punch just kind of hit.
Like, I would have said Jan definitely was, like, a value if he had consistently stopped takedowns until, like, round 4 and was beating Corey in all the exchanges and was, you know, outstriking him by, like, a decent margin and then knocked him out. That's different, you know? Like, then I'd be like, "Okay, like, clearly Jan was value," but, like, I don't know in a first round knockout, and I think just to prove that, Jim Miller was overvalued against Holtzman, and it's because he got a bunch of first round finishes, and we didn't see him like, people hadn't seen him fight in a 3-round fight or a 3-round fight for a while, you know? Um,
Yeah,
and I think that's just kinda like it's not even like excuses, it's just an understanding of win conditions, in my opinion. People will disagree, but then I think other people will kind of agree with us. It just depends on your philosophy. But,
yeah.
um,
I don't know.
what's up?
I'm also generally pretty happy to just fade like first round knockouts, particularly quick ones. Like it
Yeah.
reminds me of Moicano versus Korean Zombie. I feel like Moicano, if he survives more than 2 exchanges, has like massive challenges for Korean Zombie to deal with. But like he just got deaded inside 30 seconds or whatever.
And then even Aldo and Moicano,
Yeah,
I that's another one. It's just like Moicano took the first round, and then he just kinda got deaded, and then Aldo was, like, probably a little overvalued after that fight, you know? Um, it's just, like, first round or, like, random knockouts, unless if you're dominating until it happens, just doesn't I don't really care, you know? Like I won on Shabazian over Bird back in the day, and at the time, it was just kind of like a meme Travis Brown elbow, and I wasn't I was just like, "I don't know." Like, I might have made a good bet, but I have no idea. I think it's come to the point now that Shabazian was definitely the value at even versus him, but we didn't know that at the time, you know?
yeah,
Um,
agreed.
let's talk about the main event, Shayna Dobson and Priscilla Cachoeira for this Auckland card. Um, this is an amazing fight.
Yeah, they're all pretty amazing. Like I was considering going to the card, but they were charging. They were actually had the audacity to charge me money instead of giving me money to attend it. So
Yeah, it's not a good card, man. Um,
even by Australian, like there should be some okay like shit fights, but yeah, it's not. There's no real interesting name value here. Even then,
yeah,
it's like there's a lot of women in MMA. There's a lot of low level women in MMA.
yeah.
Big favorites.
Uh,
Like yeah, Cachoeira is the walks forward at least. That's good. That's good skill set.
she literally has, like, some of the worst striking defense stats in the history of all of the UFC, though. Um, but she's still come forward enough where she took a round against, that
McCann.
That British girl. So, like, pass.
Yeah, agreed. There's gonna be a lot of passes on this card. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, just so people know, but, I mean, we'll just give some commentary 'cause I have some things to say about a few other fights, but this is generally a shit show. Pitolo and Sato, this is also a easy pass for me.
I think Sato's a bit more functional and a bit more powerful. Like, if a gun to my head, I'd favour Sato, but yeah, not playing this price. I think the price is about right. Pitolo kind of cardio dumped because he was low flurrying on Porto early.
Yeah.
Again, like I'm not gonna judge people for gassing so much if they're cardio, like if they've like hurt somewhere badly in round 1 and sort of flurried. Like, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of fights where someone just kind of cardio dumps trying to finish, and it's like, all right, it's not a good look cardio wise, but also there's like psychological things. It's like people just overpace themselves. They think they get TKO
Yeah,
and just not recover.
for sure.
So like I think Pitolo's cardio is probably not as bad as it looked against Potter, and yeah, Sato's pretty low volume, but Sato had like I suppose he lost around to Ben Saunders. That's never a good look.
Yeah, he literally was outstruck by, like, 15 strikes to Ben Saunders, so there's no way I could ever play Sato here, and
Yeah,
Pitolo,
Saunders is okay offensively. Like
eh,
in terms,
with,
he's
like,
not good.
raw volume, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, like in ter if we're talking like if we were to move chins out the equation, Saunders isn't like obviously his main liability is his chin.
Yeah.
He's a reasonably functional fighter apart from the chin.
Yeah, I mean, he can put up raw volume, but he's still not, like, great, you know? Like, you still
Oh
don't
yeah,
wanna get outstruck, like, 40 to 25 by him either, you know, over the course of, like,
100%.
7 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. Like yeah, Sato was kind of getting his ass kicked. 'Cause I remember Sato went from like -300 pre-fight to being like evens after round one.
I played him after round 1 because I was just like, I still think he's gonna knock out Saunders."
Yeah, I think I
Um,
had Saunders pre-fight. Yeah, whatever.
yeah.
This one seems to be a lot of chat. Look, Bonmi versus Hill.
Yeah,
That's
I
interesting.
think I don't think I'm gonna play this, like, 'cause it's still a women's MMA striking fight, you know, and I think Loma looks a little better, like, I rate her a little higher than Cypher's, you know? Um,
Yeah, agreed.
but I tend to think she's the better distance striker for sure, like, Loma got outstruck on the distance strikes by Albu, who's not very good, and
Yep.
Hill puts up a ton of raw volume just against good competition, and Loma really only did good in the clinch there, but Hill has a Muay Thai base and is pretty good in the clinch, so I tend to think she'll kind of be able to at least match Loma in the clinch, and then I think she has advantages at distance, and if they go on the mat, I think she has advantages there, even though Hill doesn't always win on the mat, but she's still capable of doing it, and Loma has been guard subbed. So I tend to think Hill's also a little bigger, more
Uh,
physical. Um,
Lone wasn't the guard sub. She got back control armbarred.
yeah, yeah, back control on guard. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Um,
was like even that was a pretty quick sub. But yeah, I feel like he'll. I think it's competitive. I think it's competitive on the feet. I feel like Lone doesn't really do much to get up if she is taken down. So I think
yeah,
a takedown's probably not going to say a finish for Hill, but I think it's probably around because I feel like it's
yeah.
going to be pretty close on the feet and like a takedown, like 2 minutes of top control will probably just be enough to give Hill around. So like I'm
I
happy with the current price.
I think it's right. Like, I'm fine with -200. Wouldn't be shocked if Loma won, but, you gotta give Hill, like, a few advantages here for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Like, she's bigger, longer. I think Loma's getting sort of hyped from the first fight,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And Hill
yeah,
just, like, is a little underrated, I think, too, so,
I just
um,
find it amazing. I feel like this fight's had a lot more discussion approach the rest of the card than most, just based on like Twitter and all that sort of stuff. It just feels like it's something people have really gotten around for some reason.
well,
I
I
don't know.
think it's because I think a lot of the other fights are just kinda shit shows, and this one, I don't know, we've seen both of them recently and things like that, but yeah, like, I'm fine with -200. I don't see it and think there's, like, a huge opportunity on Hill, and I would want a little more to play Loma as well. I can't see Loma like, I've noticed lately, like, Merab and Holtzman and just fighters with high floors, you know? I feel like like Loma can never run away with this fight, in my opinion, you know?
Yeah,
Like, she's going to have to win a very, very close fight to win this fight. She's not finishing Angela Hill, no way. Or, like, the finishing advantage would be for Hill. Like, I feel like if anyone gets a finish here, it'd probably be her on the mat. And as far as the decision, I feel like Hill has more of a chance to run away with it, if that makes sense. But,
yeah,
yeah, I just feel like Loma's win condition is a close decision.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, she has probably got more upside just because she's unknown, but yeah, but what's the chance of her just turning out to be elite? It's
Yeah.
pretty low.
Exactly. And she still got outdistance struck by Albu, which I can't get out of my head, like by like 10 strikes. So
KKF versus Nam.
pass.
Yeah, KKF. I don't really trust him. Like he's had a bunch of close-ish fights that probably should be closer than they should be.
Yeah.
Generally, and like Nam, not really a huge output guy, and like
Yeah.
he's powerful for a flyweight or for a flyweight bantamweight, whatever he is.
Yeah.
But
He's just a little too low volume.
yeah, this should be KKF like marginally outvolume. Plus, it's KKF at home, so that probably is going to be worth a bit in this sort of fight. Like again, it's not like I'm not going to say like they get a regular hometown decision, but if it's worth even like 2% around in like 3 close rounds.
Oh yeah. I mean, we saw it. We saw it benefit Dotson because I still think that round two, if you just like remember everything that happened in the round with Wood and Dotson, that Wood did a lot more work, but it's because there were such long breaks and then Dotson would flash like moments and then the crowd would cheer. You know, like crowds can influence fights. It's hard to quantify exactly how much, but it can happen.
I think you're presenting some wild optimism with this, remembering everything that happens in the round, judging strategy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but yeah, it's 100%. Whoever ends close, whoever ends better, well, with the crowd's inside of, and like again, like with Dodson, it's like if there's even a slight different, even if there's a slight difference in like around, yeah, even if it's a 2-3% nudge, because I figured Wood Dodson would have a very good chance of being like a split decision.
Yeah.
Like that adds up.
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily gonna be like a Hernandez, Trinaldo complete travesty sort of situation, but like even if it's just a nudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on to more elite competition. Callum Potter versus Kanan Song. He was shit. I like Callum Potter.
Yeah. Uh, it's like
RTD's minus 150. It's probably not worth it.
Potter had a big. Didn't he upset Pitolo? Wasn't that?
Yeah, that was a big upset.
Yeah. I Yeah,
He
pass on
came
this
out
one.
to he came out to like this just like the AFL's theme song. It was a great
Oh.
moment for Aussies. It was just, yeah, it's like going out the fight music for college. It's like coming out the college fight music or whatever it is. It's just that it's a big parochial moment. Yeah, Kanan Song. I've hated Kanan Song a lot in the past. I think he's kind of bad, but Callum Potter is also kind of bad. Like I know guys who used to train with Callum and all that sort of stuff, and they're like he's a very interesting character as a person. Also, just like apparently he's got this guard game where it's just like he's very unathletic on the feet. You take him down, but he's got like 3 stupid submissions he goes for every time. And the first 3 times you roll with him, you get sub, but there's 3 stupid submissions.
Yeah.
And after that, you figure out his 3 things, and then you're fine forever.
That's like a very real thing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Is like you'll find someone who's really good at a specific move and they'll catch you like twice and then they'll never catch you again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Like it's a massive like yeah. Callum Potter's won fights offered on the regionals because like people just dive into his guard, and I honestly can't song diving into his guard and getting guard sub. Not like this kind of song. He's kind of bad.
Yeah. Um, I don't I don't think highly of either guy, and it's just kinda like I have, like, no motivation to like, Potter could get some takedowns and maybe make things interesting, you know, because it's not, like
He's not really a takedown sort of person.
true, but I don't know, like, he could maybe clinch someone up I don't know, fuck this, I don't know why I'm talking about this fight. Um, Mech and Matthews, I need to research this fight. Like, I obviously know both guys, but I do wanna look into this because they actually, like, have some process to their games and some data to look at. But, um, Mech's been I think his takedown stats are probably a little skewed because Fabinski and Usman are 2 of the best wrestlers in the division. Um, I know you like Mech, but I haven't really researched this fight yet.
Yeah, it's like Mech. Even like it wasn't against Mech. It was Mech did stuff half of Usman's takedowns, and like a lot of Usman's control was from like wrestling ride, from the turtle and sort of side clinch and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Matthews isn't really a volume wrestler. He's a bit he's a pure BJJ guy in terms of like positionally.
Yeah.
I don't think this. I don't think he can just hold down Meek, and also like Matthews against Ackman last fight. His easiest part of victory was just taking Ackman down. He refused to. Like I think Matthews is kind of hesitant of his own cardio lately. I don't think you get a performance from Matthews where he just like laminates himself to Meek like Usman and Fabinski did. Because like Usman and Fabinski are like the two most like lamination prone guys at welterweight, apart from like Covington.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and I just don't like Matthews could possibly out grapple him. But I just do not think Matthews has the ability or tendency to just throw himself at Meek like that.
He
On
doesn't
defeat,
wrestle with as much urgency. Like it's not like that. It's kind of weird because sometimes he just doesn't go for a takedown, and then
yep.
sometimes he'll go for like a lot more. It's kind of
Yep.
it kind of just depends. Yeah.
But then also, I could see something very similar to the Bojan Velikovic fight here. Like
Yeah.
Bojan got robbed in that fight, in my opinion. But like where Matthews kind of once Matthews got forced to kind of panic wrestle, he just kind of you could see a lot of his wrestling is more athleticism based and is really is technical.
Yeah.
So gasses
Yeah.
like and yeah, Matthews' whole like career has been very kind of front running tendencies. So I could just see Mac like I could see repeat the Jordan Main fight with Mac, where Main kind of held Mac down for the first round, but then Mac just kind of kept rallied back and Main just kind of dropped. I think Main and Matthews psychologically are quite similar fighters.
Yeah. I need to look into this. But no, I understand. Like for sure. Like Matthews doesn't land a ton of strikes, and I feel like this is a fight where you kind of have to adjust the stats because Mech's takedown defense, even though it's 48%, it's against Fabinski and Usman. And even though he's only landed 2.24 strikes per minute, it's against Usman and Fabinski. We're like, you're not, like, no one lands strikes on Usman ever. So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Um,
Um, yeah, and also like Matthews, like even the output of the feet is kind of low volume. So
yeah.
like if Mac just kind of stays up, like, and also we've kind of seen Matthews just lose the scrappiness in the past. Like the Leach fight was a massive aberration from the rest of Matthews' career. But he
Yeah.
lost to fucking Andrew Holbrook. Like that
Yep.
was like Holbrook beat him was like plus 800.
Yeah.
Just pretty much just be on pure scrappiness and force of will.
Yeah.
Like I could say Mac pulling that off just as well. Like Mac, he's obviously got grappling issues, but he's freakishly strong, like already strong.
Mhm.
And so I think that will equalise a lot of what Matthews is trying to do in the grappling.
Yeah.
Like Usman legitimately like struggled physically with Mac.
Yeah.
Like yeah, obviously Usman still kept him down, but there was just moments where like Usman was trying to strengthen things and Mac was kind of going back, and then there was like, all right, Usman is ridiculously strong and kind of technical, and Mac is kind of like brute force his way out of some of these positions. And he's the
Yeah.
only person who's really given Usman that kind of pushback. But anyway, Aguilar versus Tukugov, kind of passing on this one. No, you were preparing
I
to max bet Aguilar, but
Yeah, I'm passing. I tweeted last night, I was starting to get a lean on Aguilar, but my problem with him is because I think his like takedown defense is actually pretty good. He stopped 15 of 16 takedowns, and a lot of them were against the Barzola. But that Joey Gomez guy on the Contender Series still got takedowns at times, and I tend to think his win condition of sprawling and brawling can work, but my issue is because Zubaira, whatever the fuck his name is, he doesn't land strikes at all. Like he just doesn't. He's low volume as fuck. So it's really a matter of can he get his wrestling going. But my problem with Aguilar, and this is why I'm backing off and not playing it, is he doesn't like sometimes he doesn't put stamps on rounds on the feet. So I could just see even if he's just kind of like edging Zubaira in like a an uneventful round, one takedown can still win it for Zubaira in a round. And
yeah,
Aguilar also, when he does get taken down, sometimes he'll take a little like his get-ups are actually pretty good, but sometimes he'll play guard for a little too long until he kind of decides to go for like an underhook from the bottom. So the fact that he doesn't put stamps on rounds on the feet and the fact that sometimes he'll kind of take a little too long to start working back to the feet makes me think it's a clear pass.
yeah, great. Like
So
yeah, just pass.
yeah.
Uh,
Turner Culibao, I don't think Turner's actually I actually think he's got some decent parts to his game. I mean, Frivola
Yep.
isn't a terrible striker, and he was petrified to strike with Turner. Um, but I don't know, like, he's a little too raw, and this c do you know anything about this guy? I took a look at a couple of his fights, and I don't know, he was fighting pretty bad fighters, so it was tough to get a good read on him, but he didn't look bad or anything, you know?
I mean, I kind of feel like Culibao will have to wrestle to beat Turner, and I don't right try in wrestling essentially ever.
Yeah.
And Turner was massive for lightweight.
Yeah, he's huge. He's 6'3", right?
Yeah, something stupid. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's bigger. He's actually he's James Vick's size.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And like, yeah, he hung with Luke for a bit. Like, he made that more interesting. People expecting it to be. I think Turner
Yeah.
should take him out pretty easily. But then again, Turner's kind of iffy off his back. But and yeah, I just don't really think Culibao's particularly good at this point. But yeah, for the most part, just pass.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little more of a look at Culibao. Like, I'd watched a few of his fights, but, I'm probably gonna pass. Riddell and Mustafaev, Riddle looked pretty good in his first fight, but Malarkey's not very good, you know? So, like, I don't know if you can just say he's gonna win on volume just because he landed, like, a lot of strikes against that guy, you know?
Yeah,
But he could, like, he might because Mustafaev doesn't land a ton of strikes, you know? So I could see a win condition for Riddle, and I still think Riddle looks like a decent prospect, you know?
yeah.
Um,
I don't think Mustafa is going to be hitting his like grappling holes, and like Riddle's a fairly accomplished kickboxer, and so he's pretty busy. Like
yeah.
he was killing Miller most of that fight. Like there was like one meme counter hook. Um,
Mustafaev's literally never landed a takedown in the UFC. So, like, I mean, I could see why people are playing Riddle at plus money, you know? Like, he might
and
just it's probably gonna be a kickboxing fight.
yeah, and even his regional fights, he was very like he had like a heel hook or something like that, but he was never really like that dominant top position player.
Yeah, yeah,
So like yeah, I think Riddell could easily beat him just by busyness in the feet. Like yeah, Mustafaev could just do some crazy shit and get stopped, but I think Riddell should be a bit more minute winning.
yeah, yeah, and people who got in on him early, like, probably a good play. I'd probably just arb out, to be honest, you know, and just take a little free change, but,
It's
um,
bounced back a little bit this year. Like I got plus 127 when I entered, and I was like 10 to 12 out. But yeah, it's kind
yeah.
of just drifting along at the moment.
Another meme fight, Sosoli and De Lima. I'm not playing this. I know you like, De Lima here.
I just live to fight Fat Islanders. I'm sorry.
You
Um,
hate Australian fighters, I feel.
not all of them.
A lot of them considering you're from there.
I just know the conditions. I know how our regional scene is. Like we can't wrestle for the most part, and wrestling is the most important background. Like Sosoli, like I know his training situation. Like I haven't actually like trained with him myself, but he's training at Dan Kelly's gym, which is you ever hear those stories about how Hammer House was like a heavy bag on what's his name? Mark Coleman's porch. Team
Oh,
resilience is kind of like that for Dan Kelly.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Dan Kelly's a lovely guy. I do love Dan Kelly, but like it's more just like some big dudes hitting each other more than there's like coherent game plans and shit like that.
Yeah. I
Sosoli
would
didn't
just
check. Sosoli didn't check a single leg kick versus Hardy. Lima throws some nasty leg kicks for light heavyweight, such heavyweight. And like
yeah.
I just Sosoli has two paths to victory here. He has to either sort of just like out cardio Lima, and I don't think Sosoli's
I would
particularly elite cardio fighter.
I would hustle him or
Like
something. Yeah.
or he has to, and I think Lima will be winning the attritional striking battle by massive margins. Or
Yeah.
he has to just hit like a meme knockout, and like I just think Lima should outgun him pretty much every phase. Like Lima's losses are mostly takedown related, so it's like I don't think Sosoli's subbing him.
Yeah.
And like the Lima, if you even look at like who he's actually subbed him, it's like he hasn't really got that many terrible sub losses. Like what
Yeah.
Krylov, Antigulov, OSP, Struve.
Yeah.
Like, but they're not like I'm not saying like elite fighters, but they're also not guys who they're all guys with like other UFC submissions. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Like, I think De Lima's, like, more technical and probably, like, the better fighter. It's just kind of like
And
a
bigger
matter
and
of
more
if
athletic.
Yeah, it's De Lima is kind of an idiot though, but
Oh, 100%. But
like
like Sosoli's not like if you watch Sosoli versus Fitial and for Hex and all that, like he's just not
yeah,
Sosoli's not very athletic.
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I'd take what's his name? I'd probably take Tafa over Sosoli.
fuck Tafa. Um, I cannot wait till he fights someone like Juan Espino, and I just fucking max Juan Espino for just embarrassing him on the mat.
Yep.
The Yeah, like I could understand. Like I do think De Lima looks like a little bit more of a technical striker. I'll probably take another look at this fight. There's like three of them that I kind of have to just take a little cleaner of a look. But yeah, um,
It's my classic sort of shit fight. I just think Lima's got like pretty solid advantages in like actual technical kickboxing and he's a bit quicker and all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. And like I don't think Sosoli is going to take advantage of Lima's random tendency to get subbed, to
yeah,
be frank. The
for sure.
ghost of Karolina Kovakovic against Jan Janan.
Yeah, I do think if you want to, I don't think you. I don't like Jan at her current price, to be completely honest. And I know
Yeah.
Karolina hasn't looked great lately, but Karolina still, I know she got lit up by Alexa Grasso, but she still lands a lot of strikes. Like she still landed 90 strikes in that fight, and I know she was landed on 148, but like, um, still, just the fact that it's a women's striking fight and Karolina can still put up raw volume makes me think, you know. Um, I think playing Jan's decision line would be way better because it's almost even money, and I don't see why you would think she would finish Karolina. Like Karolina is very very tough, and Andrade putting her out with one punch is just it's
Yeah.
Andrade, you know. Um, so I think if you want to play Jan, that would be my recommendation. But because I don't know, like why would you jump from even to minus 255 on like a low percentage finish, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I do want to say though, also like another thing with Carolina, she still landed raw volume on Alexa Grasso, and Alexa Grasso landed a ton, but she attempted 384 strikes. So Alexa put up like an insane, just raw volume performance too. You know,
Yeah.
so it doesn't just mean Jan is going to like for sure match that, but Jan is pretty busy, and I do think the head strike stats are definitely in her favor. So
Be back. Yep, sounds
yeah, I
back.
think we're back. Sorry to the crowd. I think we got cut off for a second. But do you have any opinions on Jan and Carolina?
Like I'm no real strong opinions, but it's like a contrarian part of me which kind of tempted to go Carolina because I feel like she looks so awful against Grasso physically. It was like maybe like I kind of think that sort of look is usually an outlier. Like, there's a bunch of fighters who just like have these like one or two awful like awful physically, and like they then bounce back a bit. It's like all right, they were sick or something. But no, but seriously, like
That's such. I know that is kind of like a hunch thing, though.
I'd say it's main regression sort of thing most of the time.
Yeah,
Like I just think some of the people forget exactly how much variance there is and how fighters rock up to fights.
that's very true. And it's still a women's striking fight, and that like shit just happened. Like I mean, look at Lee
Yeah,
and Lauren Mueller. You know,
yeah,
like shit happens in these fights all the time. Like you're
yeah,
these are never like minus 255 is just not something I'd
yeah,
be interested in. I don't. I think your decision line's fine because the Carolina is tough as fuck. You know,
yeah, 100%. Um,
Crute and Olek, whatever. This is a mess. Fuck this fight.
I'm kind of looking. I'm looking for the over when it hits. I'm guessing based on the current GTD price, it'll be like minus 140, minus 150 if the over 1.5. I like that.
Yeah,
Um, Otherwise, like I feel like Isaac Sajic's power has been kind of overrated a bit because like Antikulov just sprinted at him. Um, Rolante was just like even like fairly hard shots, nothing too spectacular, and body shot, and like I don't think that was like Alex Sajic's only career body shot KO.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's kind of that. And yeah, Crute, I think he's gonna have speed issues at light heavyweight. He's decent with the grappling. He's decent grappling, but like I don't really like the Kimura game, that sort of stuff. I think we just sort of see a noodly weird fight, and also curious to see how Olek's agent goes pace wise after a guest out against OSP like that.
Yeah, it's just Crute's just kind of hard to read because he kind of just goes nuts, you know? Like he doesn't like he kind of just goes nuts and kind of goes wherever the fight goes. So it's hard to understand and predict how his fights are going to go because his process is kind of all over the place, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just hard for me to really read it. Olek at least seems to have a process where he's kind of a volume striker. Like he puts up a ton of strikes.
Oh,
So
100%.
so I like that about his game, and it seems like he at least just tries to stop the takedown and outstrike you. So I like that he has process. So like maybe he can get that game going, and I tend to think he might, but it's still like Crute's just kind of I don't know. It's hard for me to really know exactly how this fight's going to go. I could see Crute just forcing grappling exchanges, and then it just getting wild down there, you know. So it's just kind of a mess. I have no fucking idea. But
actually, just thinking about it, I would kind of lean like just looking at prices. I like Olek's decision plus 530.
Oh
Crute's
wow,
kind of low.
530.
Crute's pretty low volume on the feet, and he's quite slow. Like against on TNC, he was kind of losing that fight. It's like a minus 500 until he just roundly whomped him.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it a little more because I feel like Olek could easily just outvolume him to a decision. You know.
Let's check him standing volume again. Like I mean, against Craig, that was a fucking mess.
Crute puts up strikes, but it's like his fights have been so.
It's all GMP though. It's all GMP.
Huh?
It's like 90% GMP though.
Yeah, that's yeah. Like a lot of his strikes are ground strikes. Yeah,
like
and they've all been like quick fights too.
Yeah, like against Alvey, it was like 2 minutes, 9 strikes landed.
Yeah,
The distance, and like against Serkinov, that was a mess.
Craig was a mess too, and it was like all ground and pound. It was they were just like roll exchanging top position. You know.
He lost a round to Craig.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is just a wild fight. I don't have much to say. We can move on to the main event. I have some stuff to say about this one. What do you think of Hooker Felder?
I think price is about right at this point. I was looking at RTD briefly at minus 110. I was like, they are both kind of durable. I do think there's a decent chance of cuts and all that player figuring into this.
Yeah.
I've never been a huge fan of Felder, like just process wise. I feel like Felder's kind of he's always been branded as a kickboxer. When he's most part, he's got outlanded and lost most of his striking periods in the UFC.
Yeah, I have something to say about that.
Like, yeah, he only tends to dominate fights when he gets knockdowns or takedowns.
Not even takedowns, just when he happens to fall into top position.
He's a tough guy, but he just kind of he does have kind of lack of process. He rarely outstrikes anybody in volume. Hooker, I'm not sure. Yeah, the 25-minute thing's a question. I think there's a few questions. I think I'd price Hooker at like 60%, which is roughly where the market is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think Hooker's got a bit more upside pretty much everywhere, but like Felder will hang in there, will pull up volume, and, like we'll throw leg kicks too. Like leg kicks are now a good thing for him, so who knows?
Yeah. Just like before I get into like the styles, I'll talk about the numbers. Like Felder has had 3, 6, 9, 12, like 14, 13, 14 UFC fights. Hooker will be this will be like Hooker has landed more strikes per minute than anyone he's ever fought. So that's one thing, you know, like this is the highest volume that he'll face. Felder's career high in strikes is 62, which is not good, you know?
Yeah.
And another thing about Felder is if you look at who he has fought, I don't know how he's kind of gotten by lightweight, but he's got a few good wins like recently, but he has just fought a ton of low volume fighters and not very good fighters either. Like if you look like all these guys like Berkman, Trinaldo, Crookshank, Pearson, Castillo, Ricci, a lot of these guys land less than 3 strikes, you know, per per minute. And then Oliveira isn't like a volume striker. He's just kind of a grappler. And Felder just kind of like
that was a
Felder's
weird
tough
fight.
and well-rounded and fundamental. Like it's hard to just dominate him somewhere. So he kind of just hung in there and took over. But he also got outlanded by Edson Barboza, James Vick, and Mike Perry. And it's not like any of them are like insane volume strikers. And Hooker lands almost 5 strikes per minute. And he's been landing more in the last couple years because he's improved. So I just feel like, and Hooker's bigger. So I feel like you have to favor him. But I do understand Felder. Like just Felder doesn't land takedowns either. It's just, and he doesn't land a lot of strikes, so he doesn't have a ton of offense, kind of like you mentioned. So that's why I don't see how you can get behind him in a fight where he's not the hometown guy either. You know, or I don't know if Hooker's from there, but you know what I mean. Like that's his part of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, he's from New Zealand. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is he? Okay, cool. And then
I just think there's enough volatility here. Minus 150 is making me a bit reluctant, but yeah, I do feel like Hooker should edge it.
Yeah. But like after saying all that about Felder, I will say like he is very tough and durable. And I do think like if he puts on the pressure, you know, and kind of goes after Hooker, I think he can make things interesting. So I understand not wanting to play Hooker as well. But I do think Hooker's the rightful favorite. But I do think Felder's pretty overrated at the same time.
Yeah, 100%.
Like he's gotten by lightweight, not fighting the best guys, and yeah, and like he kind of got some of the little better fighters he's fought, like Vic. He kind of fought them as Vic's kind of declined a little bit, you know. And
yeah,
that's
even that was like
I see it.
That was like even strikes, big moments, and like Vic couldn't check the calf kicks.
Yeah,
like I played Vic pretty confidently there, and like showing calf kicks kind of surprised me in that one.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm fine with the 60% implied probability. I guess that's kind of where I'm falling on it, but I just wanted to cite the numbers because Felder just does not land enough strikes to be too confident in him either, in like against the hometown guy. But yeah, I guess to sum it up, I have no action on this card right now after coming off a card where I had like 20 units in play, which is a lot for me and is scary. But yeah, I guess we can do a podcast next week and we'll talk about what's the next card. I know you kind of gotta go, but I think the next card is Benavidez and Figueiredo. That would be a fun card.
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, so it's like 1 a.m. here. I was just sort of phased out of it.
Okay.
I see how Alexajic decision just dropped a little bit on 5 times.
Oh yeah.
You have no action on the card.
I have no action right now, but I'm looking into some things.
Anyway, always good time to do the podcast. Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'll see you later, man.
Gotcha. Bye.
Bye.